All right, what's up, y'all? It's November 22nd. It's a beautiful morning here. It was blowing late last night. But the wind was supposed to die. It did. So we are going tog fishing. So we're going to be anywhere from probably 7 to 15 miles out. It's around 8:45 now. Again, the lagoon looks beautiful. I got a special guest with me today. So see y'all out on the route out there and out on the tog ground. Super excited. See if the bite's good. Oh, man. Beautiful lagoon. Beautiful lagoon. All right, I got to torture them. Say hi to the world. They all like you better, you know that, right? No. Yeah. Every video, where's Zach? Zach's the best. He's awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys. All right, guys, just getting set up here. We're moving around quite a bit on the spot lock. I think just because it's a lot of remnants of leftover swell against the wind and a current. So we'll see. Zachy just got a shark. I'm going to show you. So we got a mix of our whites and our greens. Hopefully Zachy's good luck here. Let's get going. I want to catch one. So much current. Oh, bud, mostly small ones here, huh? That's insanity. Oh yeah, white legger, dude. There we go. Take the shell off the white legger. Oh, he's digging. Close. Nah. Bit the white though. Pretty one. Thump that white. Oh my god. Smaller white legger. Give me you and you. Don't bite me.
A little hot glue.
Ow, you bit me. Hey. Should have seen you. I had a bucket of white leggers in my Honda yesterday. They're crawling around the back seat. Look at you. She's pretty girl. That one's close, huh? Yeah. Yeah, that one's close. There we go. There we go. That's a keeper. Lost his luster. I don't know, man. They're all close. That's a keeper, right? They're all really close. Gonna be close. Yeah. I mean, just at it. Right? Yeah, 15. Yeah, keeper. Oh, there you go, bud. All better.
Always notice on the fish, the head shakes.
That's our second keeper. Zach's got one. It's too small. Where's your pith at, bub? Roger. Oh, I see. Quick roll. Who's your daddy? Quick death. Alright guys, so troll motor's busted. It's not finding the GPS signal or something. I don't know. It's beeping and yelling at me, so we're gonna have the conventional old school anchor here. Alright y'all, so just some housekeeping issues for the Reaper Fishing NJ channel. Team, I'm going to give you the rest of my solo bluefin trip on the very next video. We're going to kind of stick with this same pattern for the next few weeks. It's going to be one up-to-date fall/early winter video and then one summer video. And we're just going to go like that until I run out of cool badass videos for you guys until I stop fishing. Probably got another month here in New Jersey, and then it's travel season, baby. So I'll keep you posted there. But at any rate, team, in this video, essentially what you're going to see is the very first hiccup on any of my Minn Kota trolling motors. This is my second one on the Makecraft. I had the Minn Kota Riptide Ulterra, the automatic stow and deploy. Literally had 0 hiccups on that whatsoever, and I believe 5 seasons. I had to, when I bought the contender, I had to buy the Riptide Terrova, the 87-inch 36 volt. I had to buy that used. There was nowhere that you really could find them brand new at the time that I wanted to get the contender and get it here in time for the season. So I bought one that was lightly used, about a year old, down in Florida. I bought it as a package with the inverter charger, 3 dedicated batteries I had installed down there. But so in this trip, basically what you're going to see is Zac and I fished 1 wreck. The spot lock was fine, no hiccups at all. We were staying pretty good over the wreck with a little bit of a hard northwest wind that we had in the morning, but we were holding okay. We stowed it, turned it off, ran to another wreck about 7 miles to the north, and I went to go turn it back on. It just beeped at me. It was just beep, 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 just kind of yelling at me. So at that point I knew something was up, right? So I went to deploy it, and when I went to try and hit spot lock, so basically it was just spinning around in circles. And then I kind of noticed the cord was wrapped around. I thought maybe that was the problem. I, untangled the cord, went back in, and it just went back into spot lock mode, and same thing, it just kept spinning around. So I knew something was up. So essentially what we had to do was then go ahead and conventional anchor, and I'm going to go over that in the next segment here. But essentially what happened was the head unit here, it's very simple to take off. It's literally 4 screws, and then inside you can see here it's got this sealed component here. It's waterproof. And inside there's basically just like 2 little motherboard kind of computer chip looking things, and literally 1 power cord. I'm not entirely sure what this goes to, but literally just 1 power cord. I called Minn Kota, and they told me that basically it was probably 99% of the time it was a voltage issue. I'm not sure I bought into that. When I went to engage the trolling motor,
dry and get mild with high temperatures climbing to 90 skies and new standard channels with highs in the mid-50s.
we're moving. I don't know. With the motor, and either told it go forward, reverse, right, left, and not use the spot lock. It was fine. All my batteries had plenty of voltage. I didn't get the chance to load test them, but I thought it was something with the GPS because it was just spinning, and on my controller it said no GPS fix. So at any rate, I went ahead and basically what I did was I ordered a brand new head unit because I need this thing to work. We're in our tog season here, and I only got a couple more weeks left. I don't want to waste any more time. Zach went on the contender a couple of days later, and he had a great idea. He thought he could bring the head unit on his Minn Kota Terrova and bring it down and put on mine. And even though he's got the 24 volt, the smaller pound thrust, he put it on there, and with his controller, it controlled, my motor and my shaft just fine. So then we knew for sure it was the head unit. It was like $250. I've yet to install it just yet, just because it's been raining every day I'm off or I'm fishing. But dude, 4 screws and we're good to go. So I'll take it. Nothing too crazy. So here we go. But next segment, what I'm going to do is teach you how to conventional anchor. So conventional anchoring takes about 50 times as long to get set up on a piece. So not even 50. 1,000 times longer to get set up on a piece. Today it's wind against current, so it's a lot easier with a stiff wind, and when your drift is wind driven only and not with the current as well. So right now we're fighting a wind this way and a current this way, and it's making it kind of difficult. So this is my second drop, so we'll see if I hit it here. It's looking a little better than the last time, so we'll see. All right guys, so we're on the wreck here. It's a lot deeper and a lot different bottom, so we'll see if they're here. I don't know. All right, y'all, so once more, here's the nerd in me coming out. We're going to do some chalk talk, all right? So basically, we're going to talk about conventional anchoring. All right, that's my terrible chicken scratch handwriting. And there's 3 real ways to do it. All right, so just single anchor, 1 rod. And then there's double anchor, 2 rods. And then you can grapple, and that's 1 rod. I'm going to talk about basically just 1 touch on 3, 2 double anchoring. You need a lot of line. It's really best done on a down east boat that has a pot hauler. I know how to do it. It's really not all that hard once you get the hang of it. But again, you need a lot of line and a lot of practice. But it really minimizes swing. So if you could conquer this, and again, it's not all that hard. That's really the best of all these three. But I'm mostly going to talk about single anchoring one road, and again, I'll just touch real briefly on grapple. All right, team. Now again, what we're going to focus on here is my 25-foot center console. Most of the wrecks that we're going to be fishing are going to be anywhere from 65 to about 100 foot. Typically, the magic number will go up in depth as the season progresses. These fish migrate west to east. Some guys say that the bigger ones live at one wreck the whole year round, and I'm a firm believer in that. But for the most part, they're going to migrate west to east. So typically later in the year, you're deeper. Now the wrecks that we fish are anywhere typically from 75 foot in length on up to biggest one's probably about 275 foot or so. These 75 footers, man, they can just be a few feet, less than 10 feet in beam or 15 feet in beam. Sometimes these 275s are like 30-foot beams. So basically what I always say on the big boat, the bigger the wreck, the better. On the small boat, you have a lot more leeway. And I also say the rougher it is, the bigger the wreck that I'm looking for when I'm conventional anchoring. It's really neat when you have the trolling motor because you can get on these smaller pieces a heck of a lot easier. We even fish really, really tiny pieces that are nowhere near 75 foot that I can't give away. But you got to have spot lock in order to do that. So now with regards to wrecks and numbers and structure, team, I'm not going to give you any of my wrecks, nor is anyone else. It's taken me 10 plus years to compile all these numbers. It's a lot of hard work. I've been blessed to have some people share numbers with me, and guys, I can't thank you enough for that. And I will share numbers from time to time, but for the most part, don't expect to ask a bunch of people where to go catch tog and expect to get wrecks or exact locations of rocks or snags or this, that, the other. I'll give you a hint. It's not that hard to find them. And that's the only hint you're going to get, so you're on your own. All right, so here we go. All right, so on this day, the fish were mostly holding right around 80 foot. That seemed to be around where we found the best life, okay? So let's say that we have a wreck and, you get the numbers here and it's, 39, 49 over 73, 44, whatever. But that's your mark, right? What you're going to want to do is, say the wind's coming this way or the current, you're going to be really kind of basing all this on wind and current and the way that you're going to drift. But let's just say you have a northwest wind. So we'll say this is west, this is east, this is north, and this is south, right? So let's say you got a northwest wind, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my 25 contender. I can't draw. I'm going to bring it slowly this way, and I mean barely in gear, right up to this number here, okay? And let's just say I already know that the wreck's right there, but what I'm going to do is then once I start seeing the wreck come up on my finder out of the sand, I'm going to make my first waypoint. I'm going to keep going in that same direction very slowly, and all the while, maybe every 10 foot or so, plot another waypoint, plot another waypoint, plot another waypoint, until I get to the sand, and that'll be my last waypoint. Every now and then you can mark this end or whatever, right? And then what I'll do is then I'll motor the contender back around, and then I'll start right around here. And what I'll do is I'll do the same thing. And once I see the wreck again, I mark it, I mark it, I mark it, I mark it, right? And I'll do the same thing. Come back around, there's a 25 contender coming up, and I go up, and let's say all of a sudden, I got nothing. Boom, now I know this is all sand, right? I'll keep going right up there, no marks, right? So I know that the wreck ends, on the northern side, right around there. Then what I'll do is then I'll take the contender and I'll bring it up on the other side, boom, to the south. I'll find it out of the sand, I'll slowly go up this way, find it out of the sand, X, X, every 10 foot, X, boom, end. And then I'll circle back around, and then I'll do it up here until I see sand. And then once I see sand, I know we're good, right? So the meat and potatoes of this wreck is right around in there, and that's where I want to be. For the most part, typically, the bulk of it's going to be in the center. Every now and then, if it has a high piece, like an old wheelhouse or something, sometimes that'll be at the start or the end of it. But the moral story is now I've kind of plotted out this wreck. So now what we're going to do, for the most part, is I've got a northwest wind. What I'm going to do is slowly motor the contender right to here, right in the meat and potatoes of it, or even just right in the middle of the wreck. I want to be right in the middle of all my X's, right? I'm going to put it in neutral, and I'm going to put it in reverse, and basically come to a complete and utter stop. And then what I'm going to do, and I'm going to erase these X's for now, just to show you a little bit. So now what we're going to do is we've plotted out the wreck. I took off all the X's just to kind of help illustrate how we're going to do this. So first you want to kind of guesstimate, for the most part, how you're going to drift. You're already kind of looking at the current, and you're specifically looking at the wind. So let's say today it's a northwest wind, right? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to clear active tracks on my GPS. I prefer Simrad, but I have Garmin on the little boat. But at any rate, it's all for the most part pretty same. You're going to clear active tracks, and then what you're going to do is you're going to slowly motor into the wind, or what you suspect the current will be with our boat. And I'm going to get right to the meat of the wreck where I already plotted, or at least where I want to be. And then what I'll do is I'll go right into neutral, right in reverse, and get to 0 knots. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly let that wind or that current drift. Let the boat drift. And then what you're going to start doing is you're going to do, once you get to 0 knots, you're going to say start, new track, or save new track, right? And then what it's going to do is, as you drift, and I'm hoping with this northwest wind, it's going to give me a pretty good track line that drifts me that way. I'm going to go back up, do it again, and hopefully it gets me something very similar. I'll go back up, do it again, hopefully it gives me something similar. In the big boat, I'll do this up to 9 or 10 times. Measure 10 times, cut once. On the little boat, I'll do it about 3 times. Now every now and then you're going to get something like this too, right? So you're going to have one track line. You have one track line that's over here, maybe one that's like this, maybe one that's like this. That's okay. For the most part, you're going to average it out and be somewhere right in this drift pattern. So now what I'm going to do is again, the closer these track lines are to very similar, the better. But now once I get to that last end of the drift, I'm going to motor back up. So here's my contender now. I finished out my last third drift, and I'm going to start going this way. And I'm going to go right over the meat and potatoes of it. And then if you recall, we marked the end of it right here. All right? So then what I'm going to do is get right to the end of it, and that's my 0 point. Say I'm in 80 foot of water, I'll then motor up into the sand, 75 to 100 foot. All right, so now we're up here, 75 to 100 foot. And that's where I'll drop my anchor. It doesn't look like an anchor. But anyway, that's the anchor. I'll drop the anchor. All right? Then what we do is I tell Zach, and him and I argue about this a lot. But anyway, I want to drop that anchor right there, and I let the current hopefully take me right back on the same exact drift line. And I just let him just flake it out, flake it out, flake it out. A lot of guys, what they want to do is they want to get, 75, 100 foot of road out and start pulling tight. I don't like that. I like it to just flake out. And what I'll do is I'll drift all the way over here until I'm just before I want to be. And I'll say, Zach, tie it off. And it's really right when I start marking the wreck on my finder, which would be somewhere right around there, that I say tie it off. Because by the time I then come tight, I'm right there. I think what happens is a lot of guys, you get your 75 to 100 foot out, or even it just hits bottom and you're already like trying to drag it and tighten it. I find that our success rate is much better. Just flake it right out. Once you get to the start of the wreck, say come tight. By the time you're tight, boom, you're right about there. All right? And what we're doing, I forgot to mention also, when you're coming up, when you're going back over your drift line, not only can you follow the track on your GPS, but it'll also be at a very specific degree. So say we're going this way, say it's 75 degrees. If you're not confident just watching your track lines and going up your track line, you can also just look at your compass or your GPS and just stay right on that exact heading of 75 and then get to the end of the wreck and then go up a little bit further and drop your anchor. All right, so that's conventional anchoring. So again, what we did was we plotted out a wreck, right? We got to the meat and potatoes of it. We drifted 3 times. We got our track line, right? Then we motor back up our track line, either exactly on the same heading, you know, with the tracks visually, or with the 75 degrees. You go up, you get to your 0 point at the edge of the wreck, go up another 75 to 100 foot, you drop your anchor, and then you come on back, you come tight, and boom, you're fishing. On the little boat, I find the least amount I can get out into the sand, the better. 50 to 100 foot, 75 to 100 foot. On the big boat, I want 200 feet because I don't want my full setup on the big boat. It's got special windlass chain. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to snag that in the wreck. But I'll get a bit more aggressive in the little boat. On a bigger boat, you need more scope. On a little boat, you need less. On the little boat, I have 1/2 inch line. I think we have about 450 foot. A regular old Danforth anchor, and I probably have 15 foot of chain. The more chain, the better. All right. On the big boat, I've got pretty sure it's 3/4, and I have tons of chain on that. So, and I think I have about 500 foot on the big boat that we retrieve with the windlass. All right. So now, team, one more thing. So let's say we're on a compass, west, east, north, south. Say we've plotted out our wreck, and it goes mostly this way, right? You could picture this shipwreck in your brain, right? The way it sits on the bottom. Now, if we've got a hard west wind, and that's my drift, if I go up into the sand here and drop back, I've got a lot less leeway. Say the beam of that boat is only 15 foot, right? I've got a lot less leeway as opposed to if, and we know that this wreck sits a little more like that, right? Say it's a 100-foot wreck. I now have 100 foot of extra wriggle room as I drop back on that anchor, right? So that's another important thing to kind of keep in mind. A lot of times I'll be out there, and if I know I have the conventional anchor, in my head, I've fished these wrecks so many times, I kind of know the way that they're lying with a visual memory, right? So that's another thing to keep in mind. What else? What else do I want to show you? To conventional anchor in the big boat, I like 15 to 20 knots of steady wind. In the little boat, I'll take 10 to 15. All right, but I can do it up to 20. Last year, up when we moved the boat north, we fished so many days it was 25 to 30. We were the only boat out there, and we were laying into them. When we have more wind on the big boat, it makes a more predictable drift. If you have 0 to 5 knots of wind, which is really rare here in New Jersey, it makes it really hard unless you have a decent current. We were out a couple of days ago. I forgot to charge the trolling motor batteries, or I just didn't have time, so it kind of died out midday. We didn't have any wind at all. Luckily, we had a current that gave me a predictable drift. The other thing, too, that will sometimes happen is you'll get set up on a piece. Say you only have, like, I don't know, 10 knots of wind, right? Say it's like blowing northwest, okay? This is almost like this day with Zach, right? Say it's blowing northwest, and we're sitting on the wreck here, right? Say the contender's right there. What sometimes will then happen is out of nowhere, you get a southeast wind, and it swings you this way, and it takes you right off the wreck. Now what then I'll do, so say you've got the anchor up here, and it's going to the contender. What I'll then do is, say we're now over here, the wind's pushing us over here, here's the contender. What I'll do is I'll put that starboard motor in reverse and use this as a pivot point, and it'll then slowly bring me back over there. And I'll just every now and then bump it in and out of gear, and we'll stay like on the periphery of that wreck. And that's exactly what we did this day, and we caught them fine. The other thing you could do is use this as a pivot point and get yourself over here, and then throw a grapple hook, and then you're kind of, you know, triangulating it almost, and that'll keep you on it. So that's another trick. Last thing is, I just want to talk to you real quick about a grapple. I'll maybe at one point show you my setup, but you're using a wreck anchor, and basically what you're doing is, say here's the sea floor, here's your wreck. So basically what you're doing, and then here's your boat, right? So here's the contender. I can't draw right? There's Chris, there's Zach, right? When we're on the contender and we're going this way, there's the bow. Here's the Suzuki's, right? I can't draw it all. But at any rate, what we're doing is we're dropping that grapple, right, into the sand. And as we go this way, we're hoping to snag that wreck. Now say we're in 85 foot of water. I want this scope as close to 85 foot as possible, right? Because what I need to do is I need to have that grapple. Alright, so let's say we're in 85 foot. Here's Chris and Zach in the contender. Super pumped, right? There's a Suzuki, blah, blah, blah. We need it to go straight down and grab, right? Somewhere in here. Because I need our lines to go straight down. And you tie this off to the stern cleat or the spring cleat. And I know some guys are saying that's not safe. I'm only doing this when it's Lake Atlantic and I got no wind. It's totally safe to do that. I've done it for 20 years. If it's rough, do not tie off your stern cleat. But that's a different discussion. But I hope you can see that, say it's a little bit rougher or it's a little bit more of a drift or you're having trouble snagging, you're going to need more scope. Instead of 85 foot, we now snag it here and we've got 120 foot, right? Now there's Chris and Zach with our little Suzuki, right? And we've got 125 foot and we need 85. What's going to happen, right? We're going to drop our baits, for the most part, probably right into sand, and we're in the dog shark land. So this will only work, the grapple will only work for the most part when it's super calm, because you need to get straight up and down. You need the contender over here, straight up and down, and boom, 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 right? Just like that. Now you're fishing on the wreck. So I've grappled before. We used to do it before I knew how to do all this stuff. We caught fish. Some guys and girls also say that the clinking around of the grapple against that metal wreck scares them. Again, I've caught plenty of fish doing that. But yeah, team, I mean, I said it before. If you're going to go out there and tog fish and just relying on the trolling motor, you're going to be disappointed. I said it. It's a small little electrical device in a saltwater environment in December here in New Jersey. Things are going to go wrong. It's just going to go wrong. Your controller's not going to work. Something's going to happen in the trolling motor. You got to be able to conventional anchor, right? So again, plot out the rack, right? Get your drift pattern, come up your drift pattern, get out into the sand, put your anchor, drift on back, get tight, drop down, catch top. So I hope that helps, guys. I know I'm a nerd, but it is what it is, right? It takes practice, right? You're not going to get this on your first try. You might get lucky. You know, I remember when I first started getting into togging, we did it initially on my 32 Pro line. Josh and I did it one time. We grappled a rack and we caught our limit. We were like, man, this is so easy. And then that was the last season with my Pro line, and then I got the 34 Phoenix. I was like, guys, we're going togging. And man, I would take a half a day and not get on a wreck. And it was just like, after a while, I was like, screw it, we're going striper fishing, right? Like, it took me a while. Don't get discouraged. It's going to take some time. If you have someone with you that has done it before, that's awesome, right? I'm a knucklehead. I'm stubborn. I wanted to do it all my own and learn it as I go. And now I'm super good at it, right? I'm not tooting my own horn. It's just I've done it for 10 years, 10 plus years. So you'll get it. Just practice. It takes time on the water. Be confident in it. But this will help. It'll really help. The other thing too is Kid Coach East Outdoors. I'll put a link down. He does one video that's really, really good. He does it on his plotter, and maybe one day I'll do it as well. It's tough, guys. I'm out there. I got to run the boat. I got to find the fish. I got to anchor the boat. I want to make sure we're all set up right. So, and then I got to make these silly videos. So it's a lot, and I got to film out there too. So it's a lot for me to get it all perfect for you guys. But I did the best I can. I hope you guys are digging it. Let's see how the rest of the trip ends out. So, all right, guys. So second wreck. It's been a bit of a grind. I only have 2 keepers so far. They're just kind of barely biting at this spot. But the one kind of nice thing about the conventional anchor, you don't get as impatient to leave the spot. It's a pain to get anchored. Sometimes with the trolling motor, I feel like trolling motor, I feel like it's so easy to just hit a button and move to the next spot. Sometimes it can be a detriment, I think. So we'll see. There's so many times we've been in a wreck for almost an hour and a half or longer, and out of nowhere we start getting real nice fishing. So we'll see. Zacky's got a togger. He's got a keeper togger. Oh, look at him fight. Yeah, he's fighting you. Get him in a boat. In a boat. That's what we're looking for. Proper male. Oh yeah, that's a good male. Chewing up, he's pooping out something. That's the size we want to eat. What's he got? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. This current being real hard. They may be not on this mud bottom.
In the spot.
Really close. That's a girl too. We'll let her go. One day where we lost the trolling motor, and this is like a whole different ballgame. This guy's weight might just push us right off this thing. All right, now we're swinging to the starboard, but we got room over that way. You see, there's a little bit of wiggle. And the other wreck, we didn't have much in the way to wiggle, but this one here is bigger. Oh, we swinging the wrong way. Oh no. Oh, I got you.
Good fish?
Got him. Yeah, I actually got him. That was a pretty lackadaisical hook set, but I caught him. Slot short life again. Oh man, down there tearing me up. Fucking mayhem. Yes. Oh, that's a good one, dude. Hit him. That's a good one. Hit him. Oh, yeah. Whoa, stay up off that bottom.
I'm gonna get away.
Stay up off that bottom. I got a good one, Zach. Yes. Oh, yeah, I got him off the bottom, dude. He got him off the bottom. He just got like dead weight. Did you get in the wreck? I might have snagged him, maybe.
Biggest net ever. I won't mess him with this.
I think I wrapped him or something. He was digging, look, dude. Yeah, big tog. Nice togger. Yeah. That's a good tog. Yeah, well, that's okay. He's big. Oh, dude, look at that, guys. The hook came out.
You snagged him?
The hook came out of the mountain. I foul hooked him. I think that's grounds for a release. All right, guys, beautiful fish. The hook came right out of his mouth, and then I snagged him right near his anus, actually. But he's pretty big. Let's let him go, huh? What do you think, Zachy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let him go. You're big.
We got enough for dinner.
Get back there. Oh, God, he kicked off like big time. All right, so right around here, what's happening is we're getting pushed from the south to the north. And what I'm doing is using that pivot technique to use the starboard motor. And every now and then I just bump it in reverse, and it brings us back to the south and literally right on the periphery of the wreck. And this worked for a good amount of time, actually. I mean, look, it's fucking instant, dude.
I want to get bit.
Instant. I got another keeper. Instant, boy.
Whites?
Yeah, whites. Legs off whites.
Oh, yeah, put the legs on mine. Good problem.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Coming home. Good dinner. All right, guys. I kind of have to just engage the motor every now and then to spin us back on it. That's key. That's what I'm doing. You can see we're sliding off the low lying, and then I use the motor to just kind of back us up a little bit. A grapple would work too, but it is what it is.
Diagnose it first. Where's that?
Yeah. Driving the boat, catching fish.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. Eat it.
There it is. That was a proper lift.
That's a good one, dude.
That was a proper lift.
You like that lift? Thank you.
Wasn't a Just swing.
Dude, do me a favor, pop me in neutral real quick, bud. Oh, look at him digging, baby.
I'll make it fit.
Oh, that's a togger. That's a nice togger. That's a roaster.
Loin.
That's a roaster. All right, guys, that's number 4 for Chrissy.
I got like 30 fish today.
You crazy.
What are you talking about?
You crazy. Little ones don't count.
What do you mean?
Yep.
I'll see the whole book.
I might be able to reposition us one last time. That might make us perfect. So right around here we started to get puffs of southeast winds, and it was making a little bit more of a predictable, drift pattern. So we reset. I believe this was our last time here, and it was perfect. That's close, dude.
Right, you're just gonna make me use one.
There we go. A little better one. Get it. That should keep. Yeah. That's a better one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Keep. This rusty one. Get him in the boat. All right, y'all. That's my limit. That's my 5th. Yeah, that's my 5th. I killed. This will be my 4th one killed, and I let the big one go.
All right.
Chrissy limited. Not huge, but that's the perfect eating size. Roasters, they call them. That's a rusty one too. All right. This will be fun.
Let's see here what we got.
Oh. Ah, that'll keep. That'll eat.
Come here, mama.
That'll eat.
Loins on her.
Oh yeah, it's a fat one. All right. All right, guys. We're like I said, we're harvesting some fish today, so that's probably the 8th one that we're gonna kill. And we got 9 keepers, so 1 away from a true limit, 2 more to kill. Awesome. Tog's delicious, so I don't kill that many of them. Freeze good, tog chowder, all of it. So yeah, let's go. 2 more.
The wreck.
Oh yeah, baby. Come on, baby. Get up. Get up. I have to keep. Get up off that wreck.
Stuck.
Oh, no, it's a monster sea bass, dude.
Holy moly.
Wow.
He'll keep.
What are you doing here?
That's an eater.
Dude, that's the biggest sea bass I've had all season. Swear to God.
Jesus.
Wow.
Got a scale.
Jeez.
That's all.
Guys, that's the biggest sea bass I had all year. Watch my silly sea bass videos. Actually out there in, 150 foot. That's the biggest one in 80 foot of water. Okay. He's coming home.
Pretty.
Zach dropped the jig down for like 2 seconds. Got bit. I got snagged.
I need it's a keeper. I need a net. I'm gonna go haul it.
All right, hold on. Look at you.
Come here.
You want a net? Yeah, you get him. On the jig. We got him. Dude, look at you. On the jig, huh? It's good. All right, that's actually our 10th keeper, I think, right? So we got our limit. Yeah, we got our limit, all rusty. Pretty. All right, dude.
I sprayed one right into my.
Oh, that'll
Slid
hurt.
me right open.
See, Zach will pith him, put him out of his misery real quick, and we bleed him. And then right in there we go. One more, then we're gonna go look around for some stripers, maybe. I got you.
Is that it?
The one? Might
Come on,
be
baby.
close. Spider.
Come on, baby.
Spider.
Oh,
no. That'll keep a sea bass. That'll
Meat
keep
hole.
a sea bass.
That's awesome.
That'll eat.
Billy.
Pumped out his bladder anyway, so he's coming on. Sit down. Like that. Like that. Kind of like that. Oh, there we go. That's it.
Is that the one?
That'll do it, buddy. That should do it. I think I might be able to see that. Where'd it go? South wind gets the sea bass going, apparently. Oh, he lost his luster. Dogger.
Let's keep it.
They fabricated all of that. That's it. That's it there. Get up off the wreck. Oh no, he got smaller. He got smaller. I think he had part of the wreck. Oh, good dig.
Come on, baby.
Good dig. yeah. That's gonna do it.
It's in there.
I think.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Pretty close.
100%.
How do we get it?
I think I have a fish.
Got a fish? All right, guys, that's it. That's our 10th keeper that we're harvesting. I think we had 11 or 12 or maybe even more. Not a stellar day togging, but also not terrible. We had to deal with a busted trolling motor. Then we lost the wind. Then the wind came out of the south. So we got it done. Super pumped. It's probably around, I don't know, 3:30 based on the sun. We're gonna clean the boat up a little bit and push into the 3 mile line, see if we see stripers. If we do, I'll see you on the GoPro. If not, as always, hit that like button, subscribe, smash that silly bell. See y'all in the next video. Super pumped. Appreciate y'all watching. Gotta love fishing. It's just so fun. Togging's my favorite. All right, y'all. Good looking brace of fish. Nothing will go to waste.